You've talked a lot about how much this team's ball movement is improving. Just how important was that ball security today for you guys?
Yeah, I thought that was a big part of the game was us taking care of the basketball and getting opportunities around the rim. And we shot 41%, but we'll go back as a staff and break the film down and just look at the number of layups we even missed. They weren't wide open; they were contested, but those are the ones you got to figure out a way to make. So I thought we did a really nice job of getting each other the ball in areas to score. And then, Morgan Jones is a pro. There's no question. I mean, she reminded me tonight of how Angel McCutcheon used to shoot her pull-up jump shot. Like, put it up above her head. You're not going to block it. She's got a little step back. She put on a show because I promise you, we were trying to guard her. The game plan was not, let's see how many points she can score. And then we tried to go in double. We tried to face guard. She's just a big-time player.
Jeff, the spark that Mikasa and Liz and Alana provided tonight really seemed like that was kind of a difference, especially there in the first half. How big was the bench for you guys tonight, and what did that mean for the team?
Our bench was big. I mean, I was really proud. Mikasa's one, and I say it all the time. Mikasa's going to give you every single night. I can look at a stat sheet and know what Casa's going to do. Before the game starts. Now tonight with 9 points, that's not normally what she does, but she got out in transition and scored some layups. Got fouled. She makes her free throws, but the steals, the rebounds, the deflections, which aren't kept here, but we keep them. I know every single night, and that's what I'm challenging a lot of our players with. Like, guys, you don't have to score points. Just make it to where I know what you're going to do every night. I'm going to get you 5 boards. I'm going to defend. I'm going to make someone shoot over me. Nobody's going to blow by me. Things like that is what Mikasa does every single night for me, and that's the impressive thing about her.
Jeff, Mikasa made the point that Purcell was telling them all week, you're deeper than them, you're deeper than them. You've had a pretty deep team all year. What does it say about this group that, I think Haley and Kiana combined to shoot 6 of 23, and you guys still find a way, and people chip in on the scoring board?
No, that's what we are. We are a deep team. We might not have that one every single night that's, you're going to get them 18, 19 shots, and they're going 12 of 18, 13 of 19. But everybody steps up on any given night, and that's what makes us so hard to guard at times. I thought Olivia played outstanding today. Emily hit some big shots, came up some big, 7 offensive boards, 5 blocks. If the kid's not in the running for Defensive Player of the Year in our league, it's just outright shame. I don't know anybody that's doing as much on the defensive end of the floor that she does, and it's not just in our league, but it's nationally. And then you've got Mikasa, was all defensive team last year. So we have someone in the post and on the wing, and then someone in Mikasa that can pick the ball up and do the same. And then Alana Smith played good minutes, had a huge 3 for us. I thought she played well. Even Peyton Verhulst, I know it was a minute, but it was a big minute. We're +2 or +4 with her in the game for that minute. And then I subbed her out because I was just trying to get into a press at the end there. So I used that sub to be able to get set up. But I was really pleased with her, and it was just a really good team win.
Mikasa's work on the offensive end, like running point and just getting into the offense and making decisions, is that even evolving as she gets, here as a senior down toward?
Yeah, you know what, when I think Dana may have sprained her ankle at one point in time last year, missed a game or two, and I put Mikasa at the point, and we kept her there because she changes our tempo. She gets that thing up the floor quick with the pass or with a dribble because she's not looking to score. It's not in her mindset to say, I'm going to dribble down and try to find a shot. She's trying to get somebody else a shot. And it's kind of changed our tempo, which is important for us. She had, 4 assists tonight and one turnover is pretty impressive.
Coach, there were times that you had both Liz and Olivia on the court at the same time, and that seemed to go pretty well for you. Just talk about that move.
Yeah, we're just trying some different combinations. When they went big, we tried to counter with our size. I thought Liz did some really nice things, and then she picked up that second foul in the first half, which was I didn't see it, so I'd like to go back and watch it. But she was doing some really nice things for us out there. So, she'll continue to play, and I'll look to try and play both of them at the same time, depending on the matchups that are presented to us.
Speaking of Liz and Olivia, it seems like they've really kind of grown or developed their game to where it's more than just right there at the hoop. How big is that, especially considering their size? How big is that going to be for this team moving forward?
Well, it's really important for us. I mean, when our posts can stretch the floor, then it gives us an opportunity with the offense that we're running. You got to step up and guard them. Now our guards can cut, which is part of the reason why we're able to get as many good-looking shots as we have. Mikasa had a beautiful back cut, and unfortunately we missed that layup there. But we're doing a much job of executing offensively what we're trying to do. It's been fun to watch.
Jeff, you mentioned the depth earlier. I think you now have 4 games in the next 9 days. Just how important will that depth be as you have Duke on Sunday and then go on the road for 3 straight?
No, it's going to be really important. I mean, because we're going to have to make sure that we're getting more minutes for some. For Haley to play 38 minutes is probably about 4 or 5 too many, from my point. Just because I played her 20 in the first half, she's exhausted. Every kid wants to play 40 minutes, but at times as a coach, you've got to try to make sure you're setting them up for success as well. Especially as you get down towards an end of a game, you're exhausted. Now you're stepping up to the free throw line. You're trying to knock down a 3. But I'm just really pleased with how they're all competing, and I thought Haley really competed all 38 minutes.
Only 9 fouls today. How much running did the players do in practice to get that number down?
You know what? We went through and looked at a lot of film, watched all the crazy fouls, and we sat there in practice and we blew the whistle. Every time you hand checked, fouled on the side. And after about 15 minutes of having to go to the side because you touched somebody, then you stop doing it. And I'll give them credit. And part of that's our fault because we should have been doing it earlier in the season. But what takes place, and we all know it, is if you play soft, then when the NCAA tournament starts up and officiating completely changes, which is done for the past 25 years that I've been involved in it, which I like it, because now they're letting kids play, you better be able to handle the physicality of the game. So it's like you don't want to get too far to one side where it's like, hey, don't touch anybody. Because then once you start playing in the tournament, it can be a bloodbath. And I think most coaches would prefer it to be not quite called as much. Or maybe I'm just on an island by myself. That could be.
That's happened before.
Yes, it has.
Speaking of which, when there's stuff happening, in men's basketball or football or whatever, it can take all the oxygen in the room. You have a good crowd tonight, late game.
Yeah.
Still a good crowd. I guess just your chance to kind of remember that there's a lot of other sports here doing real well, and this is right now the prime one. You don't want to lose the attention of people, just how consistent this program's been.
No, I mean, it's, volleyball had a remarkable year. I mean, they go to the Final Four. What a great job their staff did and their players. We do. We have a complete athletic department. And that's one of the things that's always been exciting for me is you're able to brag on other sports. It's not just 1 or 2 sports. And even when, you've got 1 or 2 that might not be performing where they want to, you've still got a lot of positive that's going on here. These young women that come out here every single night and represent our program, I challenge anybody to find me just better people, not players, people. It's an 8:00 game. We're finished at 10, and then they still sign autographs after the game, which, again, with this name, image, and likeness, they don't have to do it. You know, I talked to them about it before the year. I said, hey, you guys don't have to do this if you don't want, because they can walk out front across the street and sell their autograph now. You know, but they all sat there and said, no, this is what this program's all about. This is what we do. It wasn't me, it was them. And I was touched by it, because it is. It's how we've embraced our fans. And I think that's the important thing. In this time, you've got to make sure your fans are a part of it. You got to make sure they know. And the number of emails that I get from people that run across our student athletes out at Outback or out eating someplace. I wonder if I can get an NIL for saying that. Outback, you know, wherever they might go eat. Like, I get so many emails like, hey, golly, we went over to say hi to your players. They were so polite, so nice, and spent 10 minutes talking to us. That's what it's all about. You want to grow a fan base. It's not just about winning basketball games. You know, I tell people all the time, our third year here, we're 14-18. It's not like we're beating down the wall with victories. We still had fans come out and watch. We still had a great fan base, because we had kids like Shelby Harper out there just doing. I mean, she started as a walk-on. I told her before the year started, and we joke about it. I said, now, Shelby, I don't think you're going to travel to road games, but you can dress for all the home games. By the 1st of December, I was carrying her bags on road trips because she was my starting point guard. We had so many injuries, but because we played hard and we're out here playing top 15 teams in the Big East that we should be losing by 32, and we're getting beat by 6 or 8, and they're still coming. It's not just if you win, it's how you play the game. And if you play with passion, you play with excitement, people will come back. Now, you know, eventually you're going to have to win. I understand that. I'm not stupid. But we tell our kids all the time, before every single game, I tell them, it's my job, it's marketing's job, it's the rest of my staff's job to get people to come to the game. It's their job to make sure they want to come back. And that's the way it works. It's their job to make sure they want to come back, and they want to come back because they enjoy the way our kids play, and they compete. We don't win every single game, but I'll tell you, they're signing autographs after every single game, win or lose. And boy, when you lose, it's not much fun. You know, because we joke about it all the time. You get beat, and everybody's coming down signing, and a cute little kid comes up to you, great game. It was awesome, and I'm 1 for 9. And you want to go, what were you watching? But you can't. You got to thank them and say, come back to the next game. You sign their autograph. That's what it's all about. So I just think it's really important, and we're going to continue to do things like this to get out in the community and give back, and because people have choices. You have choices on a Thursday night at 8 p.m. And we had about 7,700 that made the choice to come out and watch this. I know I rambled, but I stuttered a little bit, but not a whole bunch. Thank you. Appreciate you, everybody.